Welcome all. Today we'll be practicing the grid technique. We'll have an image of Belle, which is 5 inches tall by 4 inches wide. And you have a piece of paper that's 8 inches wide by 10 inches tall, double the size. You'll be using a ruler and a pencil for this. So let's talk about the ruler. Sometimes some people have trouble reading a ruler, so let's take a look at the ruler we're using here. I'll just do a zoom in. You'll notice that some rulers, the inch line starts at the edge of the ruler, but on this one it starts right there. And the longest lines on a ruler are the inch lines. So every inch is the longest line as you go through to make accurate marks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we already have a grid established on our 8 by 10 sketch paper, but we're going to so what we're going to do is we're going to mark every inch around the perimeter of the photo of the character. So we have marks there, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to make the same type of marks every inch on the opposite end. So you'll notice those are parallel to each other. I'm also going to do now the vertical sides every inch, making marks. And what we do now is we connect the 2 points, the parallel lines, to break up the space into a perfect squared grid. And now you're going to see that we have 4 squares by 5 squares. And let's get to the drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're ready to go. What I like to do when I'm going to do a drawing of something, I like to check out all the major shapes, all the major angles involved, and also empty space where I don't have to do anything on a grid drawing. So I'm just mapping out, seeing where would be a good place for me to start. And I really like this bottom right corner. I'm taking a look and I'm kind of exercising my pencil over all the shapes I'm looking at. I'm thinking that one starts on that edge of the square, goes all the way down to that corner. Notice I'm working in one square. I'm able to break down the space and see where these diagonal lines move. I'm thinking that one starts there, I'm making a little point. I think it ends there, I make a little point, a little reference point, and I connect the two. I have those 2 sections of Belle's face, and now I'm able to work on these smaller, tighter areas. I see where it starts and I see where that line wants to end. It's common practice to see where something starts and where something ends so you know where you're going. That's that section. Now I'm going to move to the right, directly to the left and start working on her mouth. Now this is a little trickier here. You have these shapes floating in the grid. Well, where can you go? Here's a nice little technique for you to do. You can do a grid inside of a square. So even though we already created a grid, I'm going to create a mini grid. So I'm going to find the dead center of the square, and you can measure that with your ruler to find where that is. So if it's an inch square, find the ½ inch. I'm going to create that little quadrant there, little plus sign. I'm going to do the same thing here, but this is a 2-inch square because it's double the size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark at 1 inch and also 1 inch the other way so I can create a perfect quadrant there. This is going to help my eyes see where her lip shape really goes. And I can see now break it down where I can see the upper lip move, the line move and drift down across the center point and see where the finish of the lip is to the right. I can also see now where it needs to move to, the upper lip needs to move to as it moves to the left of the drawing, and where the lower lip moves to the left as well. So creating a smaller grid can be very helpful. Also, I can see where the center of the mouth is and where the left side of the lip runs to across the paper. I'm going to get the lower part in. I can see that ends around right there. So it doesn't line up directly below the upper lip line. It kind of extends a little past. Now I'm focusing and really researching my photo as I work. So I can't just glance at it. I'm really paying attention. You can see that I'm kind of tracing over the photograph to kind of learn that line and making points. I'm going to repeat this throughout the rest of the drawing, but I also want to show you where we can make mistakes. If I want to know where Bella's little nostril is, I can make a center point in my square, and you tell me what looks like the right height for her nostril. I have 3 choices here. They are all the same type of line. For me, it's the lower one because I made that dot and I knew that was below that dot. So that was just a little test for you. If you ever don't know where something can be, kind of double check a couple different heights and then compare them. So I'm just running through my drawing out here, doing the same type of things. I might be doing a little grid. I'm double checking angles as I go, comparing, making points. If you have to draw something circular like an eyeball, here's a little tip. First, I'm going to definitely make a little quadrant here because if you have a very challenging square in your grid drawing, it's good to break it down so you're highly accurate. Nothing's worse than doing a great job everywhere else and having a little tough time. But if I want to get a circle, I want to map out many points throughout it. And you can kind of visualize that circle if you have multiple points. It makes it very easy to draw something round. Even this smaller reflective line, I make a couple points, that helps me draw the circle. Instead of trying to freehand it all in one shot, I can break it down a lot easier that way. And then I can just simply get rid of that little mini grid whenever I want to. Okay, the last thing is I have this last eye. So again, I'm constantly measuring, plotting out points where the movement of lines go. Doing the same type of thing here, kind of getting the eye in. I'm thinking I'm pretty good, but it's always good to double check your work. I noticed that reflective glare in that eye should be the same size as that one, but it's a lot smaller on the left. So I made a mistake with the drawing. So what I'm going to do, now there's my hair. Nice. I'm going to erase this one out because I know that this is the incorrect size of the shape. And I'm going to slow myself down and reestablish the real width of this. So I got to take my time here because if something's off, that means something went wrong along the way. And there I go. And that one feels way better, way better. Now that feels pretty good. Thumbs up, Pyres. All right. So take your time when you need to fix things. What we're also going to do here is we're going to describe some shadows. So if you just take your pencil, we're going to apply different types of pressure to create like a light tone, a medium dark, and a very dark tone. So how do we do that? Light pressure with the pencil will give you medium gray. Harsher pressure will give you a strong dark, and even really strong pressure will give you a very strong dark. This is good to know pressure sensitivity. So I'm going to look at my drawing and study it. And I'm going to think about those three types of values, like a medium, a dark, and a super dark value. Because if you have a highlight like the highlights in Belle's eye, you don't have to do anything. You just leave it alone. She's got some heavy outlining around the parts of her face, so you can also create some heavy outlines. This makes your drawing come alive. And when we work with pastel, we're going to be shading and everything to create three-dimensionality. Here we can just practice that with the pencil as well. So work on this part to just enhance your drawing and create some more details. Good luck, everybody.